Imagine a time when every scrap of food mattered, when the smell of slow-cooked stew filled the whole house, and a single pot had to keep everyone fed. These weren't fancy restaurant dishes. They were survival on a plate. Today we're diving into 20 forgotten British meals that once fed entire families. And wait until you hear about the one dish made entirely from cow stomach. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for that.
1. Bubble and squeak. Picture leftover potatoes and cabbage sizzling in a frying pan. You hear the bubbling and squeaking sound. That's how it got its name. The outside turns golden and crispy, while the inside stays soft and fluffy. A dish made from scraps, but it smelled like comfort. 2. Peas pudding. A thick, golden paste made from boiled split peas. Spread on bread, it was earthy, nutty, and slightly sweet. Imagine the warm steam rising as it was ladled out. A simple meal with a surprisingly rich smell. 3. Lobscouse. This sailor stew filled kitchens with the smell of slow-cooked meat and onions. Salted beef or lamb simmered with potatoes and carrots until everything melted together. Thick, hearty, and salty, it stuck to your ribs and kept you going. 4. Faggots and peas. The oven filled with the savory smell of pork and herbs as these awful meatballs baked. Served with mushy peas, it was rich, heavy, and surprisingly tender, though not everyone liked knowing what was inside. 5. Bread and dripping. Thick slices of bread smeared with cold beef fat. It sounds plain, but the dripping carried the roasted smell of Sunday dinner, salty, smoky, and rich. For poor families, this was a treat. So far, these meals have been thrifty and familiar. But as we move along, things get stranger, heavier, and sometimes downright shocking. Wait until you hear about the dish simmered in milk, made from animal stomach. 6. Toad in the hole. No toads here, just sausages sizzling in puffy Yorkshire pudding batter. As it baked, the smell of roasted sausages mixed with golden batter filled the kitchen. The edges crisped up, the middle stayed soft and chewy. Pure comfort. 7. Lancashire hotpot. Imagine lifting the lid after hours of baking. The top layer of potatoes turns crisp and golden, while beneath it, lamb and onions simmer into a rich, savory stew. The aroma of slow-cooked meat and herbs drifted through the house. 8. Stew and dumplings. The pot bubbled slowly all afternoon. Carrots, parsnips, onions, and meat scraps are softened until tender. Then floury dumplings went in, fluffy on the inside, soaked with rich broth on the outside. The smell was so good, kids would hover around the pot waiting for dinner. 9. Hodgepodge. This was the true mystery meal. Whatever was left, turnips, beans, bones, or scraps, went into one bubbling pot. The smell changed every time, sometimes delicious, sometimes questionable. But it always filled bellies. 10. Tripe and onions. And here's the one I warned you about. Cow stomach, simmered in milk with onions. The smell was strong, milky, meaty, and slightly sour. Some families swore by it. Others couldn't even stay in the kitchen while it cooked. 11. Cottage pie. The smell of fried onions and gravy filled the pan, then it was topped with creamy mashed potatoes and baked. As it cooked, the mash crisped into a golden crust, hiding the savory filling beneath. Families knew comfort was on the table. 12. Shepherd's pie. Very similar but made with lamb. The flavor was richer, slightly sweeter, and perfect for farmers who had plenty of mutton to spare. 13. Scouse. Liverpool's dish of identity. Beef or lamb stewed with carrots and potatoes until everything blends into a rich, thick broth. The kitchen smelled like roasted root veg and peppery gravy, warmth in a bowl. 14. Roly-poly pudding. A suet pastry rolled with sticky jam, steamed until soft and dense. When sliced, it released a sweet, fruity aroma that filled the house. Heavy, yes, but a taste of sweetness in hard times. 15. Bread pudding. Old bread transformed into dessert. Soaked in milk, sweetened with sugar and spice, then baked. The smell of cinnamon, nutmeg, and dried fruit drifted through the kitchen, making a feast out of waste. Now here's where it gets really fascinating. Some of these next dishes were called poor man's feasts. They were so filling, one bowl could keep you full for hours. If you could bring just one of these meals back to your table, which would it be? Let me know in the comments. I bet someone's going to say tripe. 16. Rabbit stew. Caught in the fields, cooked slowly with potatoes and onions. The smell of gamey meat mixed with herbs filled the kitchen. Known as poor man's chicken, it was tender, rich, and unforgettable. 17. Fish pie. White fish mixed with boiled eggs in a creamy sauce, topped with mashed potato. As it baked, the top turned golden, and the smell of creamy fish and butter drifted out. A true British comfort. 18. Suet crust pie. This was heavy food. Thick suet pastry stuffed with beef or vegetables, steamed until soft. When sliced open, steam poured out, carrying the smell of meat and onions. A dish that filled you up fast. 19. Welsh caul. The pot simmered for hours, sometimes days. Lamb, leeks, swede, and carrots blended into a broth that smelled earthy and comforting. Served with bread and cheese, it was the pride of Wales. 20. Corned beef hash. And finally, the wartime hero. Potatoes fried until crispy, onions sizzling golden, and chunks of tinned corned beef added to the pan. The smell was smoky, savory, and satisfying. Simple, cheap, and loved by millions. These 20 meals may have faded from modern kitchens, but they carry the story of survival. Families who made something out of nothing and turned scraps into comfort. Some dishes were delicious, others, maybe an acquired taste. But together they fed generations. So, if you could bring one of these forgotten meals back, which would it be? Would you try the jam roly-poly, the bubbling hot pot, or even the tripe? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through food history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the forgotten kitchens of the past.